Hello again, guys. It's Stephen Daniels with DUI and Do Consultants. I'm here today to show you the video I promised you. This video is made at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office's Central Breath Testing Unit. It was made on June 18, 2008. And this is the famous, these videos are going to be of Beverly Gray, the famous video of Beverly Gray falsifying an HC inspection testing failure. This is Mrs. Gray sitting right here. She's got an intoxilizer right here. And what she's going to do is she's going to run a HC inspection. There are procedures that are required to follow that FDLE puts out for the HC inspectors. And to give you a little update on, or to give you a little insight on how they do the HC inspections. First, they do an alcohol-free subject sample, which Mrs. Gray would be responsible for blowing into the machine. And the machine is supposed to be able to detect if there's any type of mouth alcohol, breath alcohol interference. When you pass that with no results, in other words, there's nothing on your breath, then you're allowed to move to the second stage, and the second testing sequence is a mouth alcohol test. In that sequence, you swish your mouth with some pharmaceutical grade alcohol, either swallow or spit it out, and then blow into the machine, and the machine is supposed to determine that there's mouth alcohol present. Once it passes that stage and successfully detects mouth alcohol, you move on to the wet bath simulators. There's 5 different simulators they use with various solutions. The first solution is an alcohol-free simulator solution, which is nothing more than 500 milliliters of distilled water. The next one is a interferent solution, which is 497 milliliters of distilled water and 3 milliliters of acetone, which is basically like fingernail polish. It's an interferent. The next one is an 0.5 alcohol solution. The next one after that is an 0.8 alcohol solution. The next one after that is a 2.0 alcohol solution, a 0.20 alcohol solution. And then the final test is a 0.8 ethanol suspended in a dry gas, which is a nitrogen gas. And basically, I believe that test is worthless because it doesn't even mimic a human breath sample. There's no moisture in it. But what I've done is I've already keyed up this HC inspection where Mrs. Gray, as she is at the end of the 0.5 simulator test, and I've done that so you can see her put on the 0.8 simulator. That successfully completes the 0.8 testing sequence, but the problem with that is she walks away from the test, and you'll see that, and I'll explain it. So let's get going here because we only have 15 minutes we can put up there on YouTube. Alright, she's taking the 0.5 off, and now she's going to put the 0.8 simulator on here. She's got it connected. Then she's going to reach down for this little binder booklet here. And in there they keep their alcohol reference certificates of analysis, which has the expiration date of the alcohol reference solutions and the lot number. They're not allowed to use a reference solution that's past the 2-year expiration date. So now she's keyed that in. And you will see her get up and walk out of the room. It runs 3 tests per sequence, like I said, and after each sequence it runs some air blanks to clean out the sample chamber. So shortly here you're going to see her get up and walk away. There she goes. So she's walking away at 11:40:21. And she's now been gone exactly 1 minute. She's been gone 1.5 minutes. She has been gone a total of 2 minutes that she was gone. Now the machine, it just finished that sequence, and now she's going to put on the 0.20 solution. Again, you're going to see her connected. When she's got it connected, she's going to pick up her booklet, type in the alcohol reference lot number, and then I'm going to slow it down. You can see her hands now. Both her hands are up there. Both her hands are on her chin. And you will briefly see her hands move away for roughly 4 or 5 seconds. It's my opinion that at this time she realizes that there was a control outside of tolerance. The first control outside of tolerance on this machine, it read, the first test on the sequence read a 0.188. There it is. There's where she moves her both hands away for just roughly about 4 seconds. Now she's got her hand back up on her chin and the other one's laying down on the desk. And folks, you see this fan right here? She'll move her hands, so keep on watching her hands. But just take a glance at this fan. This is the cure-all when there's an ambient failure in your room. They use this as an excuse. The evidence they want to proffer from these machines, they want to say it's scientific, reliable, and accurate. Yet when there's an ambient failure in this room, they simply say they turned this fan on and aired the room out. I want you to think how, I mean, that's kind of hard to believe that this courts would believe that this is the scientific cure-all for ambient failure when you're in a commercial-grade building with 12-foot ceilings, and that fan's going to simply turn on a fan is going to cure that testing failures. Basically, that's an excuse they've used. Everybody uses it, just not this law enforcement agency. Every law enforcement agency, when they have a problem, uses that. To me, it's a BS excuse that everyone's believed until we have videos like this showing otherwise. Okay, this testing sequence is going to end at 11:47. Look, it's 11:47:57. There she moves her hand again, but again, her hand is only there for a couple seconds, and the sequence isn't over yet. So her hand was roughly there for maybe 8 or 9 seconds. One hand, that's not enough to change an O-ring. Now she's keying in. Right here, she's keying in the machine saying control outside of tolerance. When we retest, she's saying yes. She's keying in the O-rings replaced. At this point, folks, is where her hands back up. And the other one never left the desk. But at this point is where she would have to take this O-ring off one of the connecting hoses, or actually unscrew the simulator head and check that O-ring. So she's done nothing of that. This is a fraudulent excuse. To me, this is like I say, this is a Class 3 felony. This sequence, I'm going to speed it up now. What you're going to see, this sequence is over at 11:52:28. So it will now successfully complete this retest. And again, we don't know why the machine failed. It just failed. She put down a fraudulent excuse. And there were, I think if I remember correctly, there were 200 people that tested on this machine during that month. So this monthly inspection was invalid. Now this is ending here in a second. You'll see her take the O2 simulator off. And then she's going to reach behind the machine and hook up the dry gas. So now she's taking the simulator off, and now watch her reach behind. There she is, reaching behind. Now she's connecting the dry gas cylinder back to the machine. So again, folks, now I'm going to stop this video, and I have to apologize. I am, since I'm a one-man operation, I have to move my webcam so I can finish talking and you can see who I am. So give me 1 second. Okay, let me show you the test. This is the test. As you can see, the serial number is right here, 80-00829. The registered, the HCSO County. The inspector is Mrs. Gray. The date's in the middle. And then if you look, here is the fraudulent excuse she put in, O-ring replaced. And anytime the HC inspector types something in, it's always in all caps. What's concerning is that there's no automatic warning generated from the machine. Generally, when the machine generates a warning, it's in small caps. So let's get back to this fraudulent excuse, and let me show you how I know it's a fraudulent excuse. This is what your connecting hoses look like. Now, this has just got a short hose on it, but as you can see, these are quick disconnects. And there's the O-ring right there. It's actually inside of a little groove, so that would take some work to get out. Now listen how that snaps into place. And then on the other side, same way, quick connect, snap. There's the O-ring. And what's concerning is that they use these hoses as an excuse too. When they don't know why it failed, they put loose hose connection, reconnected hoses. Why I'm concerned about this and why I'm posting this video is I can't get anybody to do anything. I went to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement Program Manager, Mrs. Laura Barfield. I called her, informed her what I had. She made an appointment with me. I said, I want to show you these videos in person. We met at a public library in Pasco. She drove down from Tallahassee. She watched 3 videos with me. She watched 6/18/2008, 6/19/2008, and Beverly Gray did this same excuse on a different machine the following day. That's really alarming. Then the following month, she did a similar excuse where she said there was loose connections. Mrs. Barfield was upset when I showed her the evidence. After the second one, she said she had seen enough. I said, no, you drove all the way down here. You got to see the third video, because now she uses a different excuse. She asked me what I wanted done with her, and I said, look, It's not my position. It was her responsibility since she was the alcohol program manager. It was my opinion that she should have her permits revoked, and if there was a crime charge, then she should have been charged by one of the law enforcement agencies. Mrs. Barfield asked me to make copies of the videos. I did. I sent them to her. I've got confirmation on this, guys, if you need it. I've got email confirmation, and I've also got the confirmation received from the United States Post Office saying she received the videos. I then inquired later on, after she had time to review these videos, if she was going to revoke Mrs. Gray's permits, and she said no. Mrs. Gray was still conducting tests. I testified in Judge Courtney in Hillsborough County courtroom, and I presented video evidence of Mrs. Gray falling asleep during the HCSO inspection, and I believe that she also tampered with the acetone test at that stage. The state wants to refute this, but anybody that has a smidgen of common sense would know that she added something extra to that solution, because she's got a bottle in her hand. It fails the interference test. She takes the simulator off. It looks like she takes the simulator off, and it looks like she's pouring extra acetone in there, and it passes. After that, Beverly Gray was immediately relieved of her duties. Naturally, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office realized that would be a cluster financial problem for them. So they circled the wagons, and they said that they didn't relieve Mrs. Gray of her duties. She resigned for medical conditions. Now it's covered under HIPAA. I kept on pressing FDLE for charges against this woman, and they basically said everything that all my correspondence was turned over to the Sheriff's Office. Laura Barfield's statement to me was that they could not investigate Mrs. Gray because they were just an administrative arm of law enforcement agency, and Beverly Gray worked for another law enforcement agency. I found that extremely odd. I then informed Mrs. Barfield. I said, well, I understand you're administrative agency of Florida Department of Law Enforcement, but you work for a law enforcement agency. I have just now informed you, in my opinion, of felonies that have been committed. It is now your duty to inform someone at the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to investigate this matter. Again, they wouldn't do anything and said everything had been turned over to the Sheriff's Office. To me, that's kind of a bogus excuse, and they just stick their head in the sand. Why? Because FDLE didn't want to expose this. They fired one of their own department inspectors for falsifying and deleting tests. And that was a a huge nightmare for them, for backlash, publicity backlash. The reason Hillsborough County won't do anything is that if you were arrested and went to trial, and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office of the state presented tainted evidence, in my opinion, I don't give any legal advice, you could have your case reopened, because now there's exculpatory evidence that would have been beneficial for you to at the time of trial. I contacted Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office and asked them if they would do anything, and then the Chief Counsel, Tony Pelosi, wrote a letter to me, and I have that letter, stating that, Mr. Daniels, we reviewed your letter and your allegations, and we got together with people from Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and we thoroughly reviewed our written policy and procedures, and we can find no criminal misconduct. So if you got anything other than videos, please contact us. The ironic thing is that I've investigated the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office for the past year and a half, acquiring thousands of hours of videotape through public records request at my own cost. And I went to Mike Deason at Channel 10 Connects. After I found out that they were falsifying these test reports, I also uncovered that they were assaulting people. Mike Deason went ahead and aired that. He has yet to air these videos. That's why I'm putting them up now for your education. And after those videos were put up online, the Sheriff's Department had another publicity nightmare. So what's Sheriff David G. do? He takes all the cameras out of CBT. And it gets better, folks, because I keep on pressing for something to happen. I have just now been informed by one of the acting commanders of Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office that all the videos, I went back and requested all 3 years of videos, and all 3 years of videos from 2007 up to currently were destroyed. They were scrubbed off their server. So if you were arrested in Hillsborough County and you went to trial and you have evidence, you feel evidence might have been used against you that was tainted, please contact me or have your attorney contact me, and I'll look and see if I have a video for you. Once again, this is Stephen Daniels of DUI Do Consultants, and please look for some more videos of Hillsborough County I'll be posting shortly. Thank you.